Is this on? All right, perfect. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Really excited to have Nathan with us for about 30 minutes. And, of course, Nathan won the men's Olympic title yesterday. He won the short program, won the free skate, and, of course, set that world record with a total score of 332.67. In addition to the Olympic title, Nathan is a 3-time world champion, a 3-time Grand Prix final champion, and a 6-time U.S. champion. He became the 16th U.S. figure skater to win an Olympic gold medal, and he's the 7th U.S. man to win an individual Olympic title as well. So, Nathan, I'll turn it over to you if you want to start, and then we'll open it up to questions.
Sure. I mean, as it's been not yet 24 hours since, the conclusion of yesterday, certainly still need more time to process everything. Everything still feels very unreal, but overall I'm just very happy to be here and very happy with how this competition went.
Great. Thanks, Nathan. We'll open it up to questions. Yep, we'll go over here to the right.
Hi, Nathan, right here. So how did you celebrate last night, and what are your plans for the rest of the games? Are you sticking around?
Yeah, so fortunately I've been invited to the exhibition, so that means I can stay to the end of the event. And unfortunately in 2018, I got the flu right after I competed my free program and was not able to attend the closing. So a goal of mine is to make it to the closing this time and be able to experience that. But yeah, last night I just had I had some media that I had to do immediately after, and just tried to get as much sleep as I could. But of course, a lot of adrenaline after a competition, so didn't get too much of that. But yeah, it was still, it was a nice night of relaxation.
All right. Other questions? Yep. We'll go in back, and then we'll come up here to the second row.
Alex Berchet from ABC News. Nathan, after 2018, getting a chance to come here in Beijing and be so dominant, when you were finishing and you had that American flag around your shoulders, what was going through your mind?
Mm-hmm. Certainly, it's been a pretty long journey, and that, of course, includes a lot of people that have supported me throughout my career. So to be able to have a moment like this and be able to reflect back on all the people that have helped me throughout my time in skating, it means a lot. And especially here, I've been working with Raphael for the past 10 years more, and I know how much he wanted to be able to coach an Olympic gold medalist, and he hadn't been able to do that. So it really means the world to be able to be a part of that with him. And he has certainly been the reason why I'm able to do what I'm able to do. That's the thing that I think about the most, just reflecting back on all the people that have helped me.
We'll go right here to the second row.
Okay, Claire Fu from the New York Times. So you're criticized on some Chinese social media platforms for using music from the movie Mao's Last Dancer in a performance in 2018. So my question is, what are the considerations when you choose the music? Does politics have a role in your considerations? Mm-hmm. Thanks.
So the program that was selected, actually almost all of the programs that I've selected the musics have been selected by my choreographer. And at that time, I was working with Lori Nicole, and she was the one who suggested this piece of music to me. Maybe naively, I didn't understand the whole system, the whole story behind it, just that the music was very beautiful, and I really liked the sort of avant-garde music that could come in the middle of that program during the footwork section, and I thought that was just from a purely musical standpoint, I really enjoyed that. And I mean, certainly 4 years have passed since then. I haven't performed that program for quite a few years, and the focus now, of course, has switched over to the program that I skated here in Beijing, and certainly the programs that I skated here have been just a lot of fun to skate to.
Yep, we'll go over to the left.
Oh, can you hear me now? Good morning. Ian Axon from Reuters Television. I don't know if you've managed to read the ITA statement about Kamila Valieva, but any reaction to that? It's been confirmed now that she tested positive?
I've actually been doing media for the past like 3 hours, so I have not been able to get on social, nor have I actually been updated on the situation. So that is news to me. But I'm really proud of the team, of our team, and I'm proud of the way that we skated and the way that we composed ourselves. So I actually don't know how much more I can add to that question, given that I don't actually have enough knowledge on the situation.
Well, I assume any sort of tainted medal by doping would be potentially devastating.
Sure. I mean, that's, of course, within our team. As I said, I'm really proud of the work that we've put in. I'm really proud of the skates that we put down as the U.S. team, and whatever decision comes out, at least we'll be able to come away with a medal, and for that, I'm very proud of our team.
Yeah, we'll go to Jackie here, second row.
Nathan, you've been here for, 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks now?
Just about.
It's been maybe a roller coaster ride of practices and feelings and competitions. Now that you're done, can you take me back to all of that and how you've been able to navigate, being here in the bubble and, skating with your mask on and all that kind of stuff?
Sure. It's been a really crazy 2 weeks for sure. Coming from championships, I only had a pretty short amount of time to work in California before coming out to Beijing. And actually, within that period of time when I was in California, I started working with Massimo Scali on choreography, he'd been incredibly helpful. So I just feel the need to include that. He'd put in a lot of great work with me for the past couple of weeks while I was in California, and then coming out to Beijing, it was just a lot of excitement. And fortunately, because I came in so early, I did have the opportunity to have a lot of practices, and those practices were not official practices, meaning that I could play my music a couple extra times. So I got a lot of extra reps that I wasn't actually expecting to get in prior to the start of official practice ices. And then once that started going, it's training at an event versus training at home. Pacing is very different. Timing is different, so you don't quite spend as much time on the ice. But the intensity is equal, or if not a little bit higher than what you would typically do in a session. Basically, you have to condense an hour session into 30 minutes. So rest time is shortened, all of that is shortened, which requires you to sort of change your plan around a little bit. And of course, when you're back at home, you get the opportunity to be like, hey, Monday, Tuesday we can push, Wednesday drop, or something along those lines. Differs to athletes, differs based off of the time of the season. But here it's kind of like just pedal all the way down to the floor, just gas all the way through. So then it's just like trying to figure out where rest time can come into. So some of my practices were great. Some of them I started getting a little fatigued and started getting a little shaky. But as soon as competition comes around, I start getting more excited, and that adrenaline comes back in, and it's easy to start getting back into the shape that you need to be. And it was definitely a pretty crazy 2 weeks, but had a lot of fun with it, and really enjoyed my time here.
Yep, we'll go right here, then we'll go over to you.
Kind of a follow-up to that. Now you're in this kind of limbo time, I guess, right? I mean, you've done your events, and it's something you've been building up for the past 4 years, and now it's done. What kind of a place is that? What kind of emotions are you going through right now?
I haven't even really given it too much thought. Initially, of course, just like what happened just now in the competition. So, of course, that's like where my mind is at. And then from here, I have a couple more weeks here in Beijing, and again, I get to do the exhibition, so that'll be the next thing for me skating wise. But now I get to enjoy the Olympics and support the rest of my Team USA athletes, and just be able to enjoy the Olympics for what it is. And I've never really gotten the chance to just be a spectator, really, at figure skating events. Sub a few competitions, but the most part, like not having to worry about competition at all, and just being able to sit in the stands and cheer for the athletes. I haven't really had too many opportunities to do that, so I'm really excited for that.
Yep, I think we should go over here.
Hi, Nathan, right here.
Oh, hi.
As a Chinese American, I'm wondering what your reaction is to your reception here in China and how that might compare to other Chinese American athletes, maybe Eileen Gu, who also won gold, even though she represents China. If you've had a moment to kind of reflect on some of the coverage both of you have received.
So I've actually taken a pretty straight hiatus from social media. So actually I'm not very up to date with all the things that are circulating online. And while I'm here at the rink, my exposure is literally to Michael Terry and then my coach and the rest of my team, So we don't really talk too much about that. So I'm actually not super aware of all the conversation going on around that. But I'm really proud to be part of this team, and I'm really proud of how many Asian Americans and how much diversity is on this team. And growing up and being able to watch Michelle Kwan and being so inspired by her and all the things that she accomplished, knowing that there's so many other Asian Americans on this team, I know that it's going to be inspiring for the next generation of athletes.
Hi, it's Sally Ho from the AP. Well, since you haven't been on social media, there's a lot of adorable videos of you skating when you were a kid. And the internet is just like really excited about your program yesterday. They really see it as this like really cool and refreshing program because of the rap and the hip hop. And I'm wondering if you could talk about, more specifically what it means to you for, given the way you've been received, like what does it mean to you in terms of, as an AAPI man?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I never really thought I'd ever be in a position like this at the Olympics where, I had the opportunity to skate to super fun music like that and, have a team around me that, provided me these opportunities. So it's really special. And, again, going back to my previous answer, having had people like Michelle Kwan, like Christy Yamaguchi to be faces in figure skating and just do amazing things in their careers. And just being a young kid watching all of that, it really just gave me the inspiration that hey, that's possible for me too, And certainly, I hope that will be the case for athletes, not just in figure skating, but all athletes everywhere. After watching people like Chloe Kim and myself and Karen Chen and, all the other Asian Americans on this team that are just doing amazing, amazing things. And as for the program, it's just, for me, I train these programs every single day, and if it becomes a program where I'm like, oh, I'm getting a little tired of hearing the song, that's probably not the right idea. But with this program, every time I hear it, I'm always excited, and I always want to skate to it. When that last section goes on, I always just want to start dancing. It's just a very fun piece, and the guy who choreographed it, Sam Srinard, he's a genius with movement, and it was just such a blast to be able to work with him since. Historically, I haven't really had that many opportunities to work with hip hop dancers on the ice. So it was just a really cool sort of new pathway that we went with this program, and just been really enjoying it.
I think I saw a hand raised over on the left. Yeah, quite. Yep.
You'd mentioned you're looking forward to just being a spectator. Mm-hmm. Other than skating, what event or which athlete are you looking forward to see? And if it weren't skating, which other Olympic sport would you most want to do and least want to do, and why?
Oh, man. Good questions. Well, I've actually never in my life actually seen a half pipe. So I think it'd be really cool to be able to just see what that looks like, as well as big air, just to actually see the structure itself. To me, that just sounds absurd to just, even envision how just, gigantic these half pipes and all these snow structures are. I think it would. Honestly, all winter sports are pretty crazy. They're luge, skeleton, bobsled, half pipe. All these these sports are just so next level that any sport just sounds pretty terrifying to me. And I'm glad that I'm in figure skating, so I'm gonna just stick with that. I grew up playing hockey too, so that's definitely a sport that I really enjoy playing, and it's fun to be able to have sort of that team aspect, which of course when we're skating on the ice we're by ourselves, so you don't really get to have that as much. Sub the team event, which is kind of nice to have as well. But I would say maybe hockey. I would choose hockey, although with my stature I probably would not do so well. And then any of the other sports, just because I don't think I have the guts to do the other ones.
Yep, we'll go back left.
Sorry to labour the point. Does it bother you not having received your medal yet for the team event? It's sort of a special occasion, and you've not been able to experience that yet.
For sure. I'm I personally am really lucky to have had the opportunity to get a medal here already. I do really hope that the rest of my teammates will be able to get a medal. Of course, they haven't even competed yet, so certainly there's a lot more opportunity for them. But yeah, I hope that at least before we leave, we'd be able to get it. And that also includes Vincent, who I know is in isolation, and hopefully we'll be able to get out soon. And if that's the case, it'd be just remarkable for him to be able to get the medal with us.
All right, we'll go to Jackie. Jackie, then we'll go to George.
Going back to what you were talking about right before you went to Beijing, working with Masi, what did you work on with him, and what did you hope to improve on there?
So I previously worked with him when I was with Marina, and Marina's team was just great for me at that time. Just really helped me start working on the things that I felt like I was lacking. And Rafael certainly covers a lot of my bases, a lot of basically everything that I need in competition he can cover. But I did feel that, having an extra set of eyes, such as Masi's, which I had experience working with and really enjoyed working with, would help me a little bit over these, coming weeks before the Olympics. And throughout the season, I just didn't really want to leave any stone unturned. And so, knowing that Masi was now available and had the opportunity to work with me, just asked if that's something that he'd be willing to do, and just made sure that it was okay with everyone else, and got the all clear and started working with him, and it was really, really helpful to me.
George.
Hi, Nathan. Towards the middle of your program, after the first sequence, you reach the point where skaters know they're in control, and their mental attitude changes. And from that point on, I noticed a lot of little smiles, kind of smiling at yourself at as you did each subsequent element. What was going through your mind at that time in your program and through the end of it?
That question actually kind of goes back to Jackie's question, and that was one of the things that Masi was making sure that I was focusing on. He was like, make sure that you smile during your program. Like, you need to make sure that you're showing that you're enjoying the program. As I'd been training with a mask for the past 2 weeks, I kind of completely forget what my face looks like. But yeah, after I hit the Lutz, I was already really happy, and it was more natural at that point. I didn't even have to really think about forcing myself to smile. It was just like I was having a really good time. I was having fun, but part of it was that I also didn't want to lose track of what I was doing. I still needed to focus in. I still had 3 jumps after the Lutz to do, and of course I made a mistake on the toe flip. But from there, it was just making quick calculations to make sure that I was putting myself back on track for the axel and the Lutz. But still, the music itself just brings so much joy out of me, and just every time I hear the music, just makes me happy. So. Happened to work out well for me here.
All right. Do we have any questions from OIS? I'm not sure who I'm looking at for that. Yep.
I do have a question. Nathan, last night I believe you had the chance to track the skaters who competed before you, since you competed last, and several of them didn't have their best performance. So how did you keep what you knew about their performances from unnerving you as the last skater?
I've certainly had a lot of competitions where the skaters before me either lay down the best program of their lives or may not have put down the program that they had wanted. And so having had the experience of both, no matter what happens before you, the mindset still has to remain the same, where you still have to maintain your confidence. You still have to maintain that that you're capable of doing these things, and then again focusing on the things that you can control. And so there was no difference there. But certainly it's, in my opinion, I like to know generally what the field is looking like, but it doesn't really directly change the way that I address my program.
All right, I think I saw a question right there. Then we'll go over to you as well. Perfect.
Nathan, you had mentioned some of your teammates. I was curious, have you had a chance to talk with Vincent since his positive COVID test? And if so, what was that conversation like?
I actually have not, but I'm going to figure out a way to do so now. Been having some tech issues with my phone in reaching people. I guess, yeah, I haven't been able to iMessage him, but yeah, I mean, I definitely will do that soon. And, you know, we definitely, you know, he adds a lot to the sport, and not being able to have him in the individual event was really hard for all of us. But, you know, as I've said before, you know, he deserves to get that medal. He did a lot on his part to be able to get us the medal that we got in the team event, and whatever he decides to do in the future, you know, he's pushed the sport so much in his own way, and it's been a really great privilege to be able to grow up with him.
All right, and we'll go to you, and then we'll come back over to OIS.
Hi, it's me with TV Asahi. I know it's a little too early to ask you this, but are you planning on continuing to compete? And if so, are you planning on learning new jumps like quad axel or something like that?
Right now, you know, since it hasn't even quite been 24 hours since the end of the free, you know, I still have not really given it too much thought. But I do know that, you know, the most immediate thing for me now is to go back to school in August, and from there decide what I want to do.
Go to OIS.
This is a related question. It's from Philip Hirsch.
Mm-hmm.
Will you compete at Worlds?
That also is TBD right now. I will think about it a little bit and talk to everyone else in my team and see what their feelings are, and then kind of go from there.
Have any other questions? Oh, yep. Back.
My second part of the question, like whether if you decide to continue to compete, are you planning on learning new jumps?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think that definitely goes hand in hand with deciding what the future entails for me. I think the sport of figure skating is going to continue growing quickly. You can already see that with the younger U.S. field as well as Japan, and certainly there's going to be other standouts coming out very rapidly. So it's going to be very interesting and fun to be able to track how skating progresses, and really looking forward to it. So, as for me, it's still TBD as well.
Right here in front.
I was able to go out to the medal ceremony last night. I mean, that's probably something. I mean, you've been thinking about the Olympics since you were 3, probably, and so that's probably something you've been imagining since you were 3. How did it live up to that? What were the little moments that you took away that maybe were surprising in that?
Mm-hmm. I think just being able to get the medal definitely makes it more real. Although it's still just absurd to me that that I'm here and that all this sort of happened. But yeah, it was a really special ceremony, and I'm really glad that I was able to do that. And it was, in theory, very similar to the one that I had in Pyeongchang with the rest of my team. But of course, this time a little different circumstances. But the overall feeling was still the same. Just that feeling of excitement and happiness and pride, and just overall, just again, as I said earlier, just going back and thinking about all the people that have helped me too, and realizing that this ceremony would not have been possible without all those people. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, exactly. And being able to hear that too is really, really special.
All right, time for maybe one more here, if anyone has one. Oh, sorry, someone raised their hand over there. Yeah, we'll go. Yep, the far left.
I wanted to ask about the Russian case. I don't know if you've seen the news, but the situation there is in Limbo. We don't know who's going to get the medal and when. What do you think about the situation? Obviously, you have the Russian athlete testing positive for advancing.
Again, as I had said, all of this is still very much news to me. I've been sort of trying to keep track of what's going on over the past 2 hours, but nothing had really seemed official, so I didn't really know. And especially over the past 2 days, any questions that I had, people would just be like, "Hey, focus on your event, focus on your skating." And then now I haven't actually heard anything yet. So whatever happens to be the case will be the case. But again, as I've said, I'm really proud of the way that Team USA put down, and looking forward to hearing what comes out of this.
All right, thank you, everyone. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Oh yeah.